The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Welcome to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic.
Marko Mijuskovic is registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities LLC, 7 Hanover Square, New York, 10004, and at Wealth Strategy Partners, 677 Ala Moana Boulevard, Suite 720, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. This show is for informational purposes only. Individual risk tolerance and investment objectives must be reviewed prior to making any specific recommendations.
And now your host, Marko Mijuskovic.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. You are listening Hawaii Money Resource exclusively every Wednesday night, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. right here at AM 760 KGU. Also online, if you have a computer in front of yourself, you can stream live at hawaiimoneyresource.com, hawaiimoneyresource.com. We are also on our second website that is focusing strictly on a business exit and business preparation for exit is businessexitplanninghawaii.com, businessexitplanninghawaii.com. On that website, you can definitely hear our podcast and you can stream it right there in front of yourself on your computer. Hawaii Money Resource been around since 2011, and what are we doing here? When we do have a guest like we do have it today, we're going to talk about a business. Of course, that's what we do. We're a pro-business radio station. We're going to talk to our guests that are definitely involved with the businesses, business owners, employees, and people that actually have identity. Maybe that's what we should say, identity. And when we do not have a guest, we talk about business exit and business preparation for exit, business exit planning, because all of the business owners are looking forward for the day when they're going to get out of the business, pocket their business, meaning cash that business out, sell it, and get out. So, Hawaii Money Resource today, like I said, we do have a guest. So let me introduce the guest. I think this topic is going to be very interesting. Why? Because this is getting more and more traction in our community, nationwide, and people with the identity get affected all the time. So the guest today is guys from LibertyID. LibertyID, we have a Travis Mills, founder and CEO. Travis, welcome to Hawaii Money Resource.
Thank you, Marko.
And then we have a Paul, who is a VP of Business Development, Paul Ferron.
Marko, thank you.
You're welcome. Guys, what I usually do in the beginning, I ask you for a 30 seconds introduction. So tell me, what is LibertyID?
Marko, millions of Americans suffer from identity fraud every year. Insurance companies do nothing to solve it. We fix the problem. We've created an identity theft restoration service that does all the work for our subscribers. If they have an identity theft, identity fraud issue, they call us, we fix it. Since we founded this company, we have successfully restored over 60,000 people's identities without a failure. We're proud to say we've never missed, and we don't intend to. It's our business, it's our expertise. It's America's #1 growing crime.
Okay, so why you're here today is because I personally believe that stuff like this can affect, and they are affecting everybody, from the business owners, businesses, corporation, to just those employees that work in those corporations. How? Because, if you have your employees affected because someone's identity is stolen, of course they're not going to perform well at work. They're going to be sidetracked. They're going to have other issues to worry about it. If you're business owners, your corporate information can be stolen, and now you're having issues with the IRS, you're having issues with your vendors, with your finance. I mean, overall huge problem. So there is no good thing, anything good in the identity being stolen. Am I correct?
There's nothing good about it.
There's nothing good about it.
Yeah, nothing at all.
So you are here today to tell us and educate our listenership and our business owners that are listening to our radio show and our just regular listeners of our radio show, to educate them what is going on in this industry, because there is a lot of fluff out there. Media is doing what media is always doing. Marketing is doing what marketing is doing, just selling people on certain stuff, telling them that we're going to protect you, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But in reality, in big scheme of things, people are just selling something. But in reality, is the stuff they're selling actually bringing the value to people, the identity is stolen or not? So let's set the table, like you said earlier, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about industry in general first, and then let's talk about you guys and why did you create your company and how you got into all this.
Absolutely. It really comes down to some curiosity that we had now almost 5 years ago, or a little over 5 years ago. We sat down, a team of us, and we started digging into the identity theft protection area or industry. And really started off doing some research on the people that were in the space. There are some 60 to 70 different companies. Some you know, some advertise all over the place, seemingly all the time. But we wanted to understand what these things were all about and what they were doing.
Was there any opportunity?
Exactly.
Was your approach, like maybe you should even take a step back and tell me a little bit where you guys coming from? Like, what was your background? And then, like, when you look at this, was this looking at the business opportunity? And, how did you determine, well, there is opportunity for you guys?
Yes. When this was first brought to me, when we were dealing with large numbers of consumer-related information and things that would allow others to steal somebody's identity and profit from doing so. And so what we did, this opportunity was brought to me some 5 years ago, like Paul just said, because we were harboring a lot of personal information on consumers. And we knew that we were going to be liable if exposed,
right.
if breached. And so we put this in place, realizing that, and as your listenership and clients understand, that you have a protection-first philosophy here.
Correct.
We understood and tried to figure out what the difference between true protection was, having a plan in place for when this does happen to you, or the fluff and smoke and mirrors of a monitoring service which does nothing for you, just alerts you when there's an issue, and you still have the problem.
Travis, what is your background?
My background is in corporate America, consumer goods, everything from car dealerships to retail chains of stores. So everything that had to do with PCI compliance in the retail area of the world, and then also with the FTC and trade in the car dealerships. It doesn't matter if you're a seemingly lowbrow car dealership or an MD. The information that you harbor on these individuals is exactly the same.
Right, because like every time you're dealing with the consumers and you're dealing with the consumers' information, you're harboring those information somewhere. So, and those people that says, oh, we don't save and store our clients or consumer information, that's absolutely not true.
Absolutely.
There is a trace. Since we live in electronic world, there is a trace of everything, like from email addresses to credit cards that you swipe or use with their terminals. So there is a record of everything. What about you, Paul? What is your background?
I'm a serial entrepreneur with some 25...
Addicted.
Exactly. With some 25, 30 years of experience in sales and marketing to Fortune 100 companies. And so I've been on the marketing side and the sales side, largely in consumer products and packaging. Mm-hmm. And a number of years ago, exited that successfully, and we're looking for a next thing to do, and that's when Travis and I, who have known each other since the third grade, mm-hmm. Started kicking around some ideas and really started this whole research project that lasted about two and a half years of just research of what this was all about.
Mm-hmm. And what we mentioned earlier, like, you guys started as just looking into this to find out was there any opportunity. Why? I mean, what triggered it?
Well, I'll tell you what. There's so much spoken about mission statements in this day and age, and we find that mission statements are oftentimes no more than words on a wall, and the people at the companies walk by them every day, and they don't live those philosophies.
It's just good it sounds good to have one, so let's put one on the wall.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So what we've done is we've taken a different approach to that and came in sideways from it. And we found a cause, an issue that people needed help with, and we made it our cause to find a true solution to that issue. And that's what we've done with Liberty ID and Liberty ID for small business. We fix the mess when it happens to you.
Okay, so Liberty ID was formed 5 years ago?
Yes.
And just for our listenership, so they understand, you guys are not from here. We just happen to be that you guys have a relationship with our firm that is going back from last year, and you guys were visiting our office, and our managing partner Vlad says, it will be good idea to have you guys on the radio so we can talk about this issue and educate the people here in Hawaii a little bit further about the issue and what the solution is. And we were just pretty much lucky that this is a good timing that you guys are here. So since we're setting up the table and says, okay, let's talk about industry first. Do you want to go from there, Paul? Do you want to start with that?
Absolutely. So what we did is we took a look at a competitive analysis, essentially.
Right.
Hey, what's out there? What are they doing? How are they doing it? Et cetera, et cetera. We found out with literally no exception that they are all doing basically the same thing. They are collecting data on their subscribers, their information that is reported through the credit bureaus, the main three credit agencies, and they are through their special processes or their special sauce. They're reporting any activities that they believe to be abnormal.
So let's put that in a plain. Let's give it an example.
Okay. Well, let's put it this way. When you look at all of identity theft, credit identity theft or fraud as it relates to your credit file is less than 20% of the big picture. Very little is to do with your credit. Although it does hit a lot of people. Most people immediately think of their bank account, their credit cards, those types of things. When in reality, it is more often or more commonly associated with your medical information or IRS tax refunds or Social Security benefits or reporting. And that's the kind of thing that you cannot monitor. That's the kind of thing that you can't alert someone to, hey, we see a problem. It's, you've been hit by a truck. Now what do you do? Not hey, by the way, you just were hit by a truck. I know I was hit by a truck.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Exactly. And that's really the pain of it. Mm-hmm. And along the way, this really became a cause. As part of our research, we started finding out and hearing the stories of the gut-wrenching devastation that happens to individuals and to companies that suffer a data breach. It's overwhelming what happens to people, and I think people are kind of caught up and maybe a little numb because of all the news and information.
It's not a news anymore. Put it there. It's
right.
It's becoming a part of everybody's life. So people are kind of numb to it.
Absolutely, they are numb to it, and they don't realize that identity fraud can impact you in a number of different ways. For example, it is very common that identity theft leads to people impersonating others and using their information to skirt criminal activity. So oftentimes people are finding out that they're a victim of identity theft when they're pulled over for a minor traffic infraction, maybe a tail light out. And when the officer comes up and starts talking to them, they find out that there's a warrant out for their arrest. They're going to jail. There's no stopping that. You have the kids in the back, you're going to the beach, you're going surfing, canceled. It's done. You're going to jail until that's figured out. And it's a very, very messy process. It has become so prevalent that 5 states so far have enacted a program called the Passport V. They literally put a V on the back of your driver's license if you can prove you've been a victim of identity fraud. And the sole reason for that is to allow that stopping officer or trooper the discretion not to haul you to jail.
So it means that on your driving license says that you're a victim, so you already know that you're a victim. But for those people that don't know, they're going to still go to jail.
they're going to go to jail unless for some reason they're able to talk their way out of it, which is not very likely if it's a serious warrant. And these aren't warrants for minor infractions. Oftentimes, the reason why they're there are for very serious issues, sometimes all the way up into felonies. So there's no talking a police officer out of it. They are beholden to follow the rules and the regulations and bring that person into custody. So this has an ugly side. It has many ugly faces to it.
Right, so the output is ugly. This is just one of the examples you're giving.
Right. So we felt, looking at what was being served, looking at the marketing companies out there, advertising and proposing that they can protect people from identity fraud was really a lot of hot air. And so what we did is we set about creating a method and a service that actually restores people's identities. We actually don't get involved in monitoring. Some people get involved very deeply in monitoring, but they're charging $10, $12, $15 a month
for monitoring
that you can get for free.
Okay, let's stop right here. We're going to take our first break. Today we have a Paul Ferron, who is a VP of Business Development with Liberty ID, and we have a Travis Mills, founder and CEO of Liberty ID. Where are you guys located originally?
Denver, Colorado.
Okay, from Denver, Colorado, just because of Hawaii Money Resource and Hawaiian Market, trying to educate people here. As a guest in our studio listening, Hawaii Money Resource, my name is Marko Mijuskovic. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
KGU, part of the Wall Street Business Network.
Hands can do incredible things. This is the sound of two hands helping to save a life. It's called hands-only CPR, and it's recommended by the American Heart Association. If an adult suddenly collapses, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of their chest until help arrives. Hands can do incredible things, but nothing compares to using them to help save a life. For more information on this latest method of CPR, visit handsonlycpr.org today. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
Chris, can you put the video game controller down for a second?
I can talk and play. Oh, I'm totally annihilating this punk kid in Nebraska.
I just feel like you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
Well, you still ride your skateboard to work, there's the comic book collection, the race car bed.
Look, I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I picked up a few savings tips at feedthepig.org. I have control over my financial life now, and that feels pretty grown up.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. For free ideas and easy tips on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
So, I bet I look like a grown-up to you now.
Well, except for the footy pajamas, I'd have to agree.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, the Hawaii Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Once upon a time, there was a business owner who worked hard and watched his company flourish. Then came the time to sell his company and retire in Palm Beach. But the path to his happily ever after was full of pitfalls and monstrous taxes. Whatever was he to do?
It's not a fairy tale, and the wrong strategy can deprive you of a storybook ending. I'm Marko Mijuskovic, and I know about business valuation. I'm also a specialist in business exit, asset protection, and estate planning. Visit my website, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, and I promise you'll find more than just a trail of breadcrumbs.
BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com is an online resource designed to help you prepare for the final stage of your business's life cycle. At BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com, you'll have no trouble at all finding workshops, podcasts, videos, articles, and more. Your happily ever after is just a click away at BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com.
You're listening to Marko Mijuskovic on AM 760. More than 4,000 other listeners tune in daily to hear Marko talk about investment strategies and his new area of expertise, business exit planning. If you're ready to take it to the next level, Mr. Mijuskovic invites you to attend one of his complimentary seminars. Each month, he offers a seminar for business owners interested in business exit planning. For everybody else, he offers a second seminar on investment strategies. Either way, you'll get such a wealth of information that I'm going to attend one right now. For information on how you can attend, visit HawaiiMoneyResource.com. The lawyers can take it from here.
Registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, PAS, OSJ 7 Hanover Square, New York, New York, 10004, 1-888-600-4667. Securities products and advisory services offered through PAS member FINRA SIPC. Financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Guardian, New York, New York. PAS is an indirect wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Wealth Strategy Partners, LLC is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. 2014-16224, expiration 1/2017.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the outer islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, and you are listening Hawaii Money Resource. Today's topic is identity and identity theft and data breach. This is all what we're covering today. It's a very, very important issue that people are dealing in the United States and worldwide. But before we go back and reintroduce our guest, let me talk to you a little bit about Business Exit Planning Hawaii, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, businessexitplanninghawaii.com. For the business owners, they're looking forward to their exit out of the business and selling the business for maximum price and minimum taxes paid. Make sure you go to businessexitplanninghawaii.com, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, and don't forget to check our upcoming workshop that is coming up. For more information, please go to businessexitplanninghawaii.com. We are shooting for a very important workshop coming up that you have a limited seating, and it's only we targeting 30 business owners in the room, so it's only for the business owners. So I'm encouraging everybody to go and register, because once we fill up the room with the 30 people, that's it. Next one will probably towards the end of the year. businessexitplanninghawaii.com. If you have any questions, 695-2102, 695-2102 is the number that you can call. Now, going back to Liberty ID and Travis Mills, who is the founder and CEO, and we have a Paul Ferron, who is a VP of Business Development. Business breaches, data breaches, and also identity theft is something that we're going to cover. But before we go into that, let's talk about people information and how we all plugged into the grid, and how everybody's, but literally everybody's, who has a bank account and online access, and online access to anything that requires your personal information, that we are all pretty much plugged into the grid, and our info is out there. So let's talk about that, Paul.
Absolutely, absolutely. The first thing that I think everyone needs to understand is we've been all digitized. We're all data. I like to use the analogy of the Morton Salt label. On the front cover, there's a Morton Salt gal with the umbrella, and she's holding a big container or sack of salt, and it's spilling everywhere on the ground. That's us. We're dropping our data everywhere, 24 hours a day. There's no pulling back. You can't pull off the grid and go hide. This information is out there and has been so for an extended period of time. So we're all data. And data can't be encrypted and housed to a level of security and yet have the access that we demand. We've given up our security for convenience. To do the things that we want to do, to be able to check into a hotel or fly off to the mainland or any number of different things, we've given up our security so that we have ready access to what we need, our information. And in so doing, that is vulnerable. You can literally do anything with data. You can manipulate it, you can change it, you can modify it, you can control things.
And you can combine it and form a completely brand new person out there.
Absolutely. And a synthetic identity is a huge issue, because it'll take a piece of one person, a piece of a second, and a piece of a third, and combined create a whole new individual but damage all three. So it's a very insidious problem. Give an example. When it comes to children are 52 times more likely to have their identity stolen than adults through Social Security. Social Security was never meant to be a security, at least not for identity, yet that number is used everywhere.
Right. It's your number.
Absolutely, it's your number, and you really can't change that number. But it's a sequential number. Couple of tips. Never give out your last 4 numbers. With the last 4, I can tell you what the first 5 are. And with a Social Security number, I can do a number of different things. Or I should say, a thief can do a number of different things. So research done by the Carnegie Mellon Institute about 4 years ago found out that children were 52 times more likely to be victims of identity theft. And one researcher actually researched her own daughter and found out her identity had been stolen some 4 to 6 years before she was born. It's a sequential number. It's not assigned to a person. It just comes up when you're born. So people are able to figure that out and then start using it. We have another level of problems with millennials coming up as they are getting to the point of now applying for student loans or apartments or car loans. They're finding out that their entire credit history, their identity, has been destroyed. And they're having to defend themselves on why there are foreclosures or other derogatory statements on their credit file. It's a nasty, nasty business, but that data can't be housed securely. So we have to keep that in mind as we're going through our lives and going through our procedures. We can't put it back. Data in itself attracts a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. And its security is really not an IT solvable issue. And I love IT, information technology people. They're great. We need them. They're very important. But they can't solve this problem with firewalls or virus softwares. It just doesn't work that way. Oftentimes, in fact, more often than not, those data breaches in a company are due to human error.
So let's give it an example, because there is some names out there, some big corporation that got data breached, and it was an IT issue, like you said. It was a human error.
Absolutely. One of the bigger ones that kind of brought this to everyone's attention, at least in the public eye, was back in December of 2013, when Target had their big breach. And it was nasty, and it cost some upper-level executives some jobs. I believe the last count that I saw, that's over $387 million in non-insured losses for this and continuing. But that was a data breach through their POS, point-of-sale system, that was introduced, unfortunately, through their heating and air conditioning contractor in Pennsylvania. One of the technicians with this particular firm was assigned a laptop and the ability to communicate into Target's mainframe to control the dozen stores that they had authorization to watch and adjust and control.
Control the AC system.
Exactly. The technician had taken their laptop home, as they did every weekend, and apparently their teen son or daughter used the laptop, and in that activity introduced a virus malware into that laptop. Once that technician logged back into the Target mainframe to get its information and share the results or do its analysis or whatever they were supposed to be doing, that malware then jumped into Target and ran in their system for an extended period of time. It's hugely important that people understand that small and medium-sized companies, the vast majority, we're talking over 80%, were breached last year alone. And the insidious part about it, the ugly, nasty part about it, is they likely won't know for 2 or 3 years. That breach, that malware, that system violation will go undetected for an extended period of time until it rears its head, until it does what it's supposed to do, or until someone does some forensics and finds out there's a problem. Target was discovered largely through some reporting through Brian Krebs, who found that the information that was pulled out of Target was being bought and sold on the dark web in large volumes. And they pieced together that it was from a Target breach, a huge issue. Let's go back to what we were talking about in our last segment, the fact that you can't safe harbor or hide and go undercover. The same time, same month, 2013, Experian, one of the largest credit agencies, is reported to have had a massive data breach, losing reportedly all the data they had on every individual.
Wow.
Every job, every loan, every school, every significant piece of information that's a part of you is gone. It's floating. It's in the dark web. It's not a matter of if you're going to be a victim of identity theft. It's a matter of when. And when it happens, it's going to be really, really devastating. We're talking now in our industry and in our circles that this is the third leg of certainty. Death, taxes, and identity theft.
I like it. Okay, good. So we're going to take a break, but let me ask you a quick question. Like for people out there that, because we don't want to create the now mass euphorias and people start freaking out, whatever. But it's important for people to understand what's coming and what might happen. How is it done? Like why certain people got targeted versus some not?
It's random. It's random. It has nothing to do with your social economic stature. We have worked with CEOs and we have worked with janitors. Remember, this is not always financial. This is other information. So it'll impact you in a way that you may not suspect, in a way that you're not perhaps prepared to defend yourself. If you think that your bank has your back, well, they probably do when it comes to your bank account. But they can't help you when it comes to your blood type or an IRS tax return fraud or something other than credit. So the impact on people is across all ranges. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you do for a living.
Listen, this all sounds like a good movie, okay? This is a drama suspense movie. I love it. But it's reality, unfortunately. Why don't we take our second break? You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. Today we have a Liberty ID. We have Travis Mills and Paul Ferron with us in the studio. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic. Don't forget to check us online at businessexitplanninghawaii.com for our new upcoming events and also hawaiimoneyresource.com. For more information, by the way, for Liberty ID products and services, you can always give us a call at 808-695-2102. 808-695-2102. Our company is teaming up just for our clients to protect and help our clients make sure that their identity is successfully recovered, not 2 years later, but in a matter of days and weeks. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back.
.760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
Mom? Dad? How long should I wait for you? Mom? If I'm at soccer practice. What if something happens? Will you come get me?
There's no reason not to have a plan in case of a terrorist attack.
Mom, if you're not home, should we go to the neighbor's house?
And some extremely good reasons why you should.
Can you tell me?
Everybody should have a plan. Take 5 minutes to talk about where you'll meet and how you'll get in touch with each other in an emergency. For other things you can do to be prepared, visit www.ready.gov. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the Ad Council.
Did you know that 164,000 local people have chronic kidney disease and due to lack of screening may not even know it? Help the National Kidney Foundation as they work toward creating better awareness, prevention, and treatment for the 164,000 local folks dealing with CKD and the other 100,000 currently at risk. To make your donation of funding or possible kidney donation, please go to kidneyhi.org.
Aloha, Bart De Silva here. When's the last time you had the time of your life and at the same time helped save a life? Join the National Kidney Foundation for 2 trips of a lifetime. Cruise Alaska for 7 unforgettable days and nights, May 25th to June 2nd, 2017. Or embark on a 13-night fall foliage cruise of Japan, September 21st through October 5th, 2017. Both cruises help support the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii. Call Ultimate Vacations at 949-8100 or go to ultimate-vacations.net.
Once upon a time, there was a business owner who worked hard and watched his company flourish. Then came the time to sell his company and retire in Palm Beach. But the path to his happily ever after was full of pitfalls and monstrous taxes. Whatever was he to do?
It's not a fairy tale, and the wrong strategy can deprive you of a storybook ending. I'm Marko Mijuskovic, and I know about business valuation. I'm also a specialist in business exit, asset protection, and estate planning. Visit my website, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, and I promise you'll find more than just a trail of breadcrumbs.
BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com is an online resource designed to help you prepare for the final stage of your business's life cycle. At BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com, you'll have no trouble at all finding workshops, podcasts, videos, articles, and more. Your happily ever after is just a click away at BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the outer islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. And we have another great show today with our guests today in the studio. I'm going to go back and introduce them in a little bit again and go back to our interesting conversation about identity theft and data breach. But before we continue into that, let's talk about our event that is coming up soon. I'm encouraging you to go see us or visit us online at businessexitplanninghawaii.com, businessexitplanninghawaii.com for more information. And if you're a business owner, I'm encouraging you to register because you need to know what you need to know when it comes to the business exit, because a lot of time people are waiting for the last second to start thinking about it. And how to get out of the business, how to sell it, who to sell it. And we're going to have an event for that just to educate you. We're going to have our CPA, our attorney, our business valuator, and myself in the room talking about these issues. Let's go back and talk about Liberty ID and their service. Today's guest, Travis Mills, founder and CEO, and we have Paul Ferron, who is a VP of Business Development. So far, so good. Interesting story. I mean, you guys, you can see where the 2.5 years of exploring before you started your business came, and why is that important? So now let's talk about it. We are all exposed, and there is no way we can protect it. There is absolutely no way. It's even if you put all the firewalls and stuff, there is no way that we cannot be vulnerable, right?
That's exactly right.
So what about government? Is there anybody bigger than us that can protect and solve the problem?
Well, it's interesting you say that, and we can go over numerous examples of how the government is taking action and trying different things. I found it interesting about 2 years ago at a Senate hearing. At the time, the director of the FBI, director of CIA, director of the NSA, all were providing testimony to our senators or congressmen, and they identified the problem, and they identified that data breach and cyber theft are a real issue, and something that technology is not being able to thwart off. And so they collectively advocated declaring a war on cyber theft, and that's great, and that's terrific.
But what does that mean in reality?
What does that mean? And then let's look at a couple of other wars that were declared. Back in the 60s, Lyndon Johnson's administration declared a war on poverty. Let you decide whether or not that was wholly successful. Mm-hmm. And in the 70s, of course, the Nixon administration declared a war on drugs. 2017 now, you be the judge of how effective that was. Mm-hmm. The issue here is you can't legislate morality. And this is information and this is data that people want for all sorts of different reasons. And they're going to get it in all sorts of different ways. You no longer have to put on a black turtleneck and pants and a ski mask and
rob someone,
right? Or climb through the roof at night.
You don't need those skills anymore.
You don't need any of that. Mannix is out of business. He's got no one to go after. No, this is something that can be done electronically from anywhere. There's one story in which over $5 million. That seemed like a lot, but $5 million was amassed by one individual. $50, $100 at a time. And when they finally tracked down this person, they were getting them from various bank accounts around the world. When they finally tracked down the perpetrator, it ended up to be a 15-year-old high school kid in Brazil, living in his parents' house. And when they confronted him, he had all $5 million in a bank account. And what's your defense to this, young man? And he said, I got bored with Xbox 360.
I mastered that one.
So he absolutely. And then there's an example of a Houston oil refinery, as secure as it can get. I mean, the air gap between internet was substantial. There's no way anyone's going to get in there. But the hackers wanted in there, and they wanted in. And so they waited, and they watched. And they saw on a regular basis cars come out of the secured compound and go down the street to the restaurants, be there for just a moment or two, 15 minutes, and then back. And
take out. Is it a takeout?
Exactly. So they literally implanted the malware virus on the online menu of a Chinese restaurant and waited. And it was just a matter of days before one of the engineers got online, looked at the compound, and ordered some up, and got a nice, healthy side dish of
orange chicken
and malware. So there are all sorts of different ways that intrusions can come in, and we're not sitting here wanting to pull fire alarms and scare people on their drive home on a beautiful Wednesday. We want to keep things in perspective. Hey, look, there are some things that you need to be aware of. There are some things that you need to do, perhaps modify your behavior. You also need to be prepared. You need to have a plan. You need to have something in place for afterwards. If not, you're playing a pretty dangerous game that you can't control.
So let's talk about this, because let's assume, case scenario, my data got breached. I'm a business owner. A lot of information got picked out of my servers, out of my computers. My identity also got stolen, and now we have like a double Rami right there. So if I'm a regular person, ordinary citizen, what I usually do first, and what should I do? I mean, first hire you before they happen. That's absolutely answer to this question. But what my options are?
They're very limited. They're very few. Identity theft restoration is not a DIY project. This is not an easy thing to do. This is not something that attorneys are trained to do. This is not something that security or IT experts get involved in. This is a very complicated matter, depending on where it's affected you. If it's your medical information, there's a host of people that you have to contact and work through. The FTC has a nice resource guide, I think about 44, 46 pages. So fill up the printer before you hit print. And it will walk you through some practical things that you can do to try to do some kind of repair, some kind of reparations in what you have. But unfortunately, it's going to cost you
some time.
Just a tremendous amount of time. It's a full-time job, because you're having to make calls and send letters to places that don't take calls or don't open letters. That's kind of problematic. So there are very few things that individuals can do to fully resolve the issue. But unfortunately, there really aren't companies that specialize in post-theft reparations like we do. But we are a subscription base, and we make no excuses about that. We are get prepared ahead of time. This is something that you need to have as part of your other portfolios of
insurance protections
or other types of products that are going to help you in the aftermath. And yes, it's commonly in that area.
So God forbid that you have issues with the IRS and refunds. Mm-hmm. Quickly, just in a couple of minutes, explain the time length, how long it takes for you to prove it to the IRS that they actually deposit your money went somewhere else.
Well, first of all, you're going to be notified by the IRS and typically as you file your tax return, and the IRS's best advice to date is file early. So you file your tax return, and you're going to get notification from the IRS. Always a letter. They never call.
Mm-hmm.
Always a letter.
Neither the email.
Right. But you're going to get a letter from them saying that we have a problem. Your tax return has already been filed. You'll be given a phone number to call, an area to contact, and that you will then be put in queue, meaning you'll be put in order to the next people that they will get to deal with it. Then they have a special section. They're working very hard to come up with some creative ideas and how to thwart this a little bit. But the problem is that the bad guys are 2 to 3 steps ahead. This is a very tricky
because this
cat-and-mouse
is all
game.
reactive.
Exactly.
Right.
So they'll put you in queue. The current wait is 355 days before they get back to you and then start the process of finding out what happened.
Wow.
Now that process in which they then go through, validate what they have, and try to start sorting it out is a minimum of 120 days, but often the whole process can last 2 to 3 years.
Wow. Well, listen, I'm definitely glad that we have a relationship between our companies, that I'm protected and my family is protected, because right now the credit monitoring that I have for me and my wife, I don't think so. I think I'm going to cancel that because it's charging you money but not really providing anything but letting me know that something's going on.
We would argue that paying $9 or $19 a month to be notified that your credit has been hacked is really not a useful resource.
By the way, yesterday when we talked in our office, you said that our other insurances like homeowners or umbrellas or PNC, any type of insurance, you said that those are not covering any of these.
Look very closely at
and guess what?
Right.
I will confirm that.
Okay.
Because while we were sitting there, I emailed my PNC guy, good friend of mine, and I asked him, is identity theft covered? He said, there was a point in the past, but that was revoked. The only option you have is go to those that advertise online for monitoring.
Right.
Your PNC homeowners, renters umbrella is not covering this kind of stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
So what we decided when we looked at these different monitors that it was absolutely unethical to charge the general public and business owners for what they can get for free in our society. You're already being monitored by every financial institution and credit card company you do business with.
Yep.
That's in their best interest to notify you when something happens. And like Paul's been saying, 2/3 of everything, or more than that, 80% of all identity theft has nothing to do with the things that monitoring can find anyway.
Right. So
Exactly.
like because right now credit report monitoring is just credit cards, employment, loans, mortgages, whatever. There
Correct.
is nothing to do with the IRS tax filing. There is nothing to do with the health informations.
Nope.
Right?
Absolutely not.
What else? I mean, you name it.
It has nothing. It doesn't show you anything to report anything in terms of crime or employment or impersonation. Identity theft has several different faces, as I mentioned. Credit is one of the smallest.
Okay, so let's take a last break just for a minute or two, and then we're going to wrap up just letting the people know what they need to do. How's that sound?
Sounds
Perfect.
excellent.
Perfect. Travis Mills, founder and CEO of Liberty ID, and Paul Ferron, VP of Business Development. You're listening Hawaii Money Resource. For more information on Liberty ID and how you can solve your issues when it comes to the data breach and identity theft, 695-2102, 695-2102. Give us a call. My name is Marko Mijuskovic. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
.760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
If you're pregnant, then you know there's a lot to consider. Here are some tips. Eat nourishing food. Stay active, get plenty of rest, and do all you can to minimize stress. Avoid smoking and alcohol. Learn your options for care before, during, and after the baby comes. Start planning for breastfeeding. It offers health benefits to you and your baby. It's best for you both if you give birth after 39 weeks of pregnancy. Learn more at childbirthconnection.org. This public service message is from the National Partnership for Women and Families, United Healthcare, and this station.
We all want to retire someday, but how will you afford it? Marko Mijuskovic here, financial advisor for Wealth Strategy Partners. Times are tough, but nothing brings comfort and security like having a financial strategy. Some financial strategies can be complicated, all those numbers and percentage points. It makes your head spin, but that's why I created an easier to understand system called Retirement Income Timeline. Let me analyze your situation using my retirement income timeline, and I'll show you how you may be able to turn your money worries of today into a stress-free retirement of tomorrow. It's easy. Just call me and I'll assist you. Get your personal retirement income timeline by me, Marko Mijuskovic, today. Call 695-2102, 695-2102.
Registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, abbreviated PAS, 7 Hanover Square, New York, 10004. Securities products or services and advisory services are offered through PAS, a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor. 888-600-4667. PAS is a member FINRA SIPC.
Achieving personal financial success can be complicated. Marko Mijuskovic can make it simpler. That's something very good to know in a world where the wrong financial decisions can be all too costly. Marko Mijuskovic, Vice President of Wealth Strategy Partners, has been helping people in Hawaii successfully organize and plan their finances for years. Marko uses an holistic approach to help you balance your current financial obligations as well as your future concerns. And he does this while keeping things simple. Organizing your finances is serious business, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Find out how Marko can help you make smart, informed decisions about your financial future. Call him and schedule your complimentary session and tell him your story. He's there to listen. The toll-free number to call is 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102. 877-695-2102. Marko Mijuskovic. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the outer islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. Just quickly, we have like 3 minutes left till the end of the show. Today's guest is Travis Mills, founder and CEO of LibertyID, and Paul Ferron, VP of Biz Development for LibertyID. Quickly, business owners, individuals. This is a service, subscription-based service that will recover their identity and data if in case they're breached and compromised. You guys go in a matter of days.
We do the work.
You do the work. You do all the legwork. You will recover the data, and you will stop the bleeding.
Exactly.
Give me the example, quickly, minute.
2 different examples. First of all, individuals. We have a plan for individuals, couples, with partners, and families. It's very important that people take a look at covering themselves and getting prepared. It's very affordable. And it solves the peace of mind. You're free to travel around the world again and live your life. For businesses, it's a little bit different deal. And we're talking about data breaches and what that will do to a business in terms of bringing it to its knees in customer faith and trust. And in terms of liability, there's tremendous liability.
You can go out of business.
Absolutely.
Right?
Think about it this way. If you're a company that harbors any consumer data, whether you're a doctor, a CPA, you are susceptible to an attack and a breach. And when that happens, your customers are going to be pretty angry with you. We created LibertyID for small business that not only covers all employees, but also creates a pre-breach plan and a post-breach response. So we're there. If your first call as a business owner after a breach is to your IT guy, you're in deep trouble. If your first call is to your attorney, you're in really deep trouble. You need to have a plan. This is not an IT fix. This is, how does my company continue after this breach happens? I'm in the business of fixing teeth, or I'm in the business of taking care of customers' concerns and problems. You don't want to get involved in a data breach recovery.
Okay,
that's what
perfect.
we do.
So I appreciate you guys. Liberty ID. For more information, you can give us a call directly in our office. We have a relationship with these guys. We can help you recover some of this what happened with your data breach and your identity theft. Paul and Travis, thank you so much for being guests at Hawaii Money Resource.
Thank you, Marco.
Perfect. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. Don't forget, check us online at businessexitplanninghawaii.com, businessexitplanninghawaii.com. Do not change the channel. We'll be right back.
The Living Balance Sheet and the Living Balance Sheet logo are registered service marks of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, New York, New York. The graphics and text used herein are the exclusive property of Guardian and protected under U.S. and international copyright laws. Copyright 2005 to 2011. The Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. This show is for informational purposes only. Individual risk tolerance and investment objectives must be reviewed prior to making any specific recommendations. Marko Mijuskovic is a registered representative and financial advisor for Park Avenue Securities, LLC, 7 Hanover Square, New York, New York, 10004. Securities products, services, and advisory services are offered through Park Avenue Securities, a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor. 888-600-4667. Financial representative, the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, New York, New York. Park Avenue Securities is an indirect, wholly owned subsidiary of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Wealth Strategy Partners is not an affiliate or subsidiary of Park Avenue Securities or the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Park Avenue Securities is a member FINRA SIPC.